Today we're reacting to a first take segment with Adam Schefter breaking down the NFL coaching carousel, especially the Bills, Ravens, and the surprising Philip Rivers interview. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and some of these decisions could seriously reshape teams moving forward. If you enjoy NFL reactions like this, make sure to like the video and subscribe.
Behind the scenes of what happened with a couple of the hirings that have taken place here, or potential hirings that have taken place. Ladies and gentlemen, senior NFL insider for ESPN, Adam Schefter.
Yay, Schefter!
Hey, get ready. It's cold. It's coming. Cold's coming, bud. The cold is coming. Is it already there?
It's here, and then we're expecting a major storm here on the East Coast. Down south now, moving up to the East Coast. All I could say is, if the conference championship game had been in New England this year, oh boy. Oh boy.
It was close. It was close. I mean, there was some things that had to happen there last week, and it could have taken place. Conman just wrote on his whiteboard and said 16 inches. We got more than a foot coming up to New England?
Oh, yeah, big time. It is going to be an absolute shite show, and I think it starts Saturday night into Sunday.
Which, by the way, if you're coming in to play the Patriots, you would say, of course. Yeah. Isn't this just such an interesting little thing that this always takes place? Now, on that note, we hope everybody stays safe with the weather. Let's talk about Minter getting hired in Baltimore. Congratulations to Michigan Man. Breaking Michigan Man news there. Minter, obviously, with Harbaugh in Michigan, goes over to the Chargers with him. Everybody talks about his greatness, his leadership, how good of a defense he has. Jesse Minter being hired. What was the conversation that went into it? Bisciotti obviously has confidence in himself in finding a great leader of men. What does this mean for Lamar? Just if you could give us all these things as we now have a new leader in Baltimore.
Yeah, Jesse Minter flew in there Wednesday, and I think it became very apparent to the people in Baltimore that that was somebody that they were going to want to hire ASAP. He was supposed to fly out, was supposed to go to Cleveland, never made the trip to Cleveland, stayed behind in Baltimore as they discussed a deal the entire time. And I think Baltimore probably went into this thinking that Jesse Minter would be one of the ideal candidates to hire from the cycle. I think that there were other people that they were really impressed with during the cycle. The issue is, can you wait on some of these coaches that are in the conference championship games? Can you wait on a Nate Shieldhouse or a Davis Webb or a Chris Shula? And, you know, if they win on Sunday, those guys cannot be hired until Monday, February 9th. And if you're a team like the Buffalo Bills, who didn't interview them in the window provided by the NFL rules, you can't even talk to them until their season's done. So I think Baltimore just saw Jesse Minter, knew him from the 4 years that he spent in the organization, obviously very comfortable. He was incredibly impressive during the interview, so much so that they wanted him not to fly out. And they were able to knock out the deal during the course of the day. It's a 5-year deal. He stays in Baltimore, and working with Lamar will be a huge part of it. Like, we know that Josh Allen is actually sitting in on the Bills head coaching interviews, sitting in. Lamar didn't do that, but I have to believe that they spoke to Lamar and are like, hey, you good with this? You want to talk to this guy? I don't know if they ever spoke or not, but there's...
Early in the discussion, what stands out is how decisive Baltimore was with the Jesse Minter hire. They knew who they wanted, didn't wait around, and got the deal done fast. That kind of clarity feels refreshing compared to some other teams. It also sounds like Lamar Jackson wasn't running the process, but definitely wasn't left in the dark either, which feels like a healthier balance.
There's no way you just hire the guy without Lamar having any knowledge of it.
Bisciotti said they will certainly have input, but they will not have power. I have all the power. I will be the one doing the hire. I believe was Bisciotti's actual quote. And I assume that he definitely reached out to Lamar. Feels like Lamar was potentially a part of the reason for the new iteration of the Baltimore Ravens going forward. Good luck to them. Everybody loves Minter. Hopefully they're able to find an offense that continues to roll, because this year the defense was ass and shite. So Bisciotti saying if we would have had a good defense this year, we're probably in a much better spot. Going with a defensive mind, cool. You talk about the Buffalo Bills missing the window to talk to some people because they're still playing or whatever, they're still in it. Is that why Phil Rivers is getting an interview potentially because he's one of the people they can certainly talk to at this exact moment. They just want to leave no stone unturned. What's the realistic opportunity here for the Buffalo Phils to be taking a brand new stadium? And if Josh Allen's sitting in on these, which is fascinating, I appreciate their respect for Josh Allen and his importance to the program and his relationship with the head coach mattering for the success of them going forward. I know there's detractors to it, and I will certainly listen to them, and I understand they have their take as well. For me, I think a quarterback is a CEO of locker room. I think that person should have a seat in there, but only if they've earned it. Has Josh Allen earned it? I would say yes, but there's certainly some people that would say no as well in the entirety. Aaron Rodgers was not asked, I don't think, whenever LaFleur was hired in Green Bay. I think that was a big story. I think that ended up being something. There's been other situations in the past. But anyways, I assume Peyton was asked whenever Jim Caldwell got the job after Tony Dungy here in Indianapolis. So interesting dilemma there. But if you could explain a little bit more about Josh Allen's role in there and how normal this would be or abnormal this would be. And then also the Buffalo Phils. Phil Rivers, obviously we love him here in Indianapolis. And did you see what he did to Seattle? Everybody's talking about the Seattle Seahawks defense.
Oh, yeah.
Phil Rivers, fresh off the bulletin board, fresh off the headset of coaching high school football, almost beats the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. And everybody's like, this guy can't complete a pass. Nobody can against Seattle, but Phil Rivers still can. And that's because Phil Rivers knows this offense. Would he be offensive coordinator and head coach? Just all that involved there, Shefty. Sorry I went on a rant, but it needed to be said.
Yeah. Let's start with Philip Rivers. And, he's been busy getting ready for this interview with the Bills. And my understanding is he was ready to go when he was being called into that interview this morning in Florida. He's there. That's where the Bills are doing the interviews. Philip Rivers doesn't do anything without being thoroughly prepared. And I'm going to be really surprised because he's in there right now as we speak. I'm going to be really surprised if Philip Rivers doesn't wow them in the interview. Now, are they going to hire him? I have no idea how Brian Daboll.
Wow. This is where the Philip Rivers conversation really gets interesting. On paper, it sounds wild. A former QB with only high school coaching experience interviewing for an NFL head coaching job. But the way they talk about his preparation, leadership, and football IQ makes you at least pause. It still feels like a huge risk, but you can understand why Buffalo wants to hear him out, especially since they're limited on who they can talk to right now.
And Brady and Davis Webb, some of these other candidates are going to do. But I can tell you that Philip Rivers has a chance to become the third person in history to become a head coach without any prior head coaching experience at all. Jeff Saturday did it for your Colts. Norm Van Brocklin did it back in 1961.
Called him Brock.
And now,
NVB.
They call him Coach Brock, Rocky.
Yeah, he'd be the third. Again, here's the thing. Philip Rivers, that's just who he is. Like, he elevates people. He raises up people. He's never been the head coach of an NFL team. He's been the head coach of a high school team. But this is his chance to present his ideas and his perspective to see whether or not he's ready for a job like that. Like, we've seen other people in similar situations. If you remember a few years ago, people were interviewing Josh McCown right away. I think the Texans did. And there were some people who thought Josh McCown was going to get the Texans job that I think that year went to Lovie Smith. So Philip Rivers, if he wants, can be a head coach one day. Is it this day? We'll find out. That's up to the Bills and him and that presentation. And Josh Allen will be sitting in. And that tweet that you held up, I know Ryan Fitzpatrick said he strongly disagrees. I think certain players, this is me, are in different categories. They're in different categories. Josh Allen is an MVP. If you win an MVP and you're the best player in the league or amongst the 2 or 3 best players in the league, and you're going to be in that city for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years, to me, why would you not include him in the conversation to hire a head coach? You're going to get his input anyway. What does it matter if he's sitting in? Perspective, different ideas. I don't have any issue. I know players don't ordinarily sit in on interviews, and maybe you could say it's a bad precedent. But I would say when there's a player holding out that, is an 8-time All-Pro player, and the team does something for him that they haven't done for anybody, like include a no-trade clause. Well, you say to the other people, when you go to 8 straight All-Pro teams, when you win the NFL, we'll do the same for you. And I just think he's in a different category, and it's being reflected in the way that they're conducting interviews with him being a part of it.
Well, and also if he wants to be a part of it, like we go back to Baltimore, who just made their hire.
Yeah.
Like, did Lamar want to be a part of it? Was Lamar a part of it? How much a part of it was he? All those things. Because Bisciotti said they definitely have input, they don't have power, I believe was his exact quote. So is he also, you know what I mean? So, like, I assume Josh Allen's the same thing. Like, he certainly has his input, but he's not the one that's going to be making the decision. Ultimately, Pagula sounds like he's potentially going to be, hey, a lot of talking out of Terry. A lot of talking out of Terry. I like this when these owners. You need to start, because I know you text with the owners. You need to tell them we need more microphones.
The Josh Allen involvement debate is probably the most polarizing part of this segment. I actually get both sides. Having your franchise QB involved makes sense, especially when he's an MVP level player and the face of the team. At the same time, it does feel like a slippery slope if players start having too much influence. Input is fine. Power is not, and that line really matters.
In front of them.
Yes.
We need podcasts from these owners. We need them talking more. You know what I mean, Shefty? Tell them that. Not just through anonymous sources of like Schefter tweets.
No.
Anonymously, the building is very pissed off at the coach. It's like, well, who's Shefty? Who'd you get that from? A building sent you? How's that even exact? We know you got connections everywhere. We know you got a busy day. We appreciate you joining us talking about the big news. Okay, coaching cycle, real quick. What do we, who's next to get hired? Because I mentioned Stefanski going to Atlanta is wild. Like, I mentioned that as wild. I did not think that he would just get hired as quickly as he got for another head coaching role because of how it all went in Cleveland. And a lot of people in Atlanta are telling me that I need, treat this Phil Rivers interview as the same. Like, hey, you're attacking us. What about them? I think there's not a lot of huge names in this particular coach. Like, who do you think goes next? What do you think goes next? And is it just a waiting game for Shula, and maybe Kubiak and the guys that are still coaching right now in the championship weekend?
Well, I think that enters into it right now. Again, if you're Buffalo, you can't talk to the people that are a part of it right now. And you're not allowed to talk to these coaches until they're out. Cleveland, to me, it seems like the Browns are looking at one of these young offensive minds, whether that's the Jaguars offensive coordinator, Grant Udinski, or the Rams passing coordinator, Nate Scheelhaus, or Jim Schwartz. And I think that that's something that they're going to be looking at strongly, because if you want to keep that defense, the continuity of it, you can't hire another defensive coach. You got to keep Jim Schwartz, and he's got to be the head coach. And these young offensive-minded head coaches, it's up to the Browns to determine when and if they're ready. So to me, that's the Browns' choice. One of these young offensive minds or Jim Schwartz. The Cardinals, they had in Anthony Campanile, the Jaguars defensive coordinator, yesterday. I still think they're looking at Raheem Morris, Mike LaFleur, the Rams offensive coordinator, who's involved this weekend. Pittsburgh, like Chris Shula, Anthony Weaver, Mike McCarthy, definitely very much in play. We'll see what the Steelers do. The Bills are just getting started. Philip Rivers is with them right now as we're on the line, going through his interview in Florida. And then there's one other team that's out there. We're forgetting.
Raiders.
Cardinals,
Raiders. The Raiders. I think in a perfect world, you'd also like a young, bright offensive mind to shepherd along Fernando Mendoza and to grow with him as your quarterback. Like Davis Webb would fit in Vegas, but Davis Webb might be the play in Buffalo. I think Buffalo, to me, like I said, you start with the three guys that have Buffalo connections in one bucket. Joe Brady, who had a great interview yesterday. Brian Daboll, who also is in contention, and Davis Webb. Those are the three guys to me that are in one bucket. In another bucket, you got the outsiders. Although Anthony Lynn's got great Buffalo connections too. He was the runner-up to Sean McDermott in 2017. And basically, there were some people that wanted him and other people that wanted Sean McDermott. And the people who wanted Sean McDermott won out. Lynn was the runner-up. He took the Chargers head coaching job. In the midst of a relocation, he led them to a 33-31 record. So maybe we'll put him in that Buffalo bucket too. And then in the other bucket, we'll put Mike McDaniel and Anthony Weaver and Grant Udinski and Philip Rivers, some of the outsiders. But the Bills also want to see how this weekend's games go, because Chris Shula, Nate Scheelhaus, Davis Webb, they'll also could be in play depending on whether those teams win or lose. A loss for one of those coaches is a win for their head coaching chance.
Oh, no, we don't say
Shefty.
that. Shefty, no, so for the good of ball, we can't start that. But seems like that is the accurate depiction of the situation. You're the best. Have a great day. Enjoy championship weekend, Shefty. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Where are we headed? Anywhere?
Overall, this segment shows how complicated and messy the NFL coaching cycle can be between timing restrictions, playoff runs, and pressure from star quarterbacks. Teams are making massive decisions with limited options. Baltimore looks confident and organized, while Buffalo still feels like a team searching for the right direction. At the end of the day, interviews and headlines won't matter. Wins will. Whoever gets these jobs will be judged immediately, especially with quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson in their prime. Let me know what you think about Phillip Rivers, Josh Allen sitting in on interviews, and which team you trust the most right now. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more NFL reactions.